Hi, my name is Leela Shori, and I'm the Mindfulness Coordinator at Mind in Salford. And I just wanted to say a few things about this year's Mental Health Awareness Week and the theme of that, which is anxiety, and then share a few tips of how we can work with anxiety. So, as we know, anxiety is actually a normal part of being human. We might feel anxiety in lots of different parts of our lives. So, for example, now I'm feeling quite anxious. I'm doing this recording, I'm looking at myself on the screen. So there's that sense I can feel the anxiety. There's maybe a sense of like elevated heart rate. I'm starting to feel a bit warmer than maybe I did before. But all that's very natural. It's just a part of being responsive to what's happening in my experience. What could happen if I start to over-identify with this anxiety is that I could continue thoughts of this experience into the evening, thinking, "Oh my goodness, I hope that was okay when I did that recording," or maybe those anxious thoughts go into the next day or the day after that, and I hang on to that anxiety. And when that happens, then there's probably things that we really need to look at within our experience, because we're holding on to these anxious thoughts, which are really not serving us, really not helping us. So I'm going to lead us in a breathing practice shortly, but I just wanted to mention a few other things that you might like to look at in terms of when you're feeling anxious, or things that we can do. So the first thing is getting some exercise. I mean, we hear that all the time, don't we? Going outside and moving the body, or even inside, is great, because when we're in the body, we're not so much in the head. We can move our focus of attention, awareness, to something else. So we can feel the legs moving, we can feel the body moving. If we're really working hard, we can feel a sense of warmth, and we get the endorphins moving around as well, which is the feel good hormone. So that's really helpful. Another thing that we can do as well is spend time in nature. So we all know when we've had an experience of nature and we just feel like maybe a sense of calm or a sense of peace, it could also take us into a different mindset as well. Just changing our scenery, getting outside, engaging in the beauty of nature can really help. And even if we live in the city, we can find a small pocket of nature, even in the city, in a little park. Maybe there's some flowers growing somewhere, looking up to the sky. Connecting with others is another thing as well. Being able to share how we're feeling. We are human. We all struggle. We all have times of anxiety and times when we're just not feeling our best. And if we can share that with other people, then it's a real gift as well, because what it means is that other people are more likely to share how they're feeling as well. So you're opening up that opportunity for conversation. And then I'd also like to encourage you to be kind to yourself as well. So when we're feeling anxious, those anxious feelings, those thoughts can just take us away. We can start to over-identify by this negative thinking in our mind. How can we be with that with kindness? It's hard being a human. It really is. There's so many things in the world that want our attention. There's lots of things happening. We might have a really busy job with lots of demands. We might have a family that need our attention. We might have worries about money, worries about our health. It's really tough. So what can we do to be kind to ourselves? So maybe at the end of this little recording, you might want to make a pledge to yourself. What could you do within the next hour or two that would be an act of kindness for yourself, something that would really nourish you? And it might just be as simple as going out for a walk in nature. Okay, so I'd like to now lead us in a short breathing practice. So all you need for this practice is just somewhere comfortable to sit or to lie down. You could do that too. It's going to be about 6 minutes long, something like that. So not too long. And the invitation is to find somewhere comfortable. Have your hands just resting on your lap. Or if you're lay down, your hands resting at the side. And if you haven't done any breathing practices before, any meditation before, that's absolutely fine. Whatever feels good for you in this moment is the right thing to do. So if you're feeling overwhelmed at any time for this short practice, please just open your eyes, Maybe move around, do whatever feels good for you in this moment in terms of returning back to yourself. So the invitation is to close your eyes, if that feels okay. So I'm going to close my eyes as part of this practice. And what happens when we close our eyes, we just come a little bit more into our internal world. Our world quite often is so external focused. So let's turn this attention inwards. So finding a comfortable posture that feels supportive for the next 5 minutes or so. I'm just going to bring awareness down into the body. So when we're anxious, we live very much from the head. Dropping the awareness down into the body. So when we drop awareness down, you might notice the points of contact the body is making with what you're sat on or lay on. You might notice points of pressure. Allowing the hands to be soft. You might feel them making contact with your leg, your thighs. And just see if you are sat up, is it possible to sit up a little bit straighter? Maybe imagine you've got a golden thread from the top of your head that's just gently pulling you up. Checking in the shoulders, can we let the shoulders drop down? Just see if we're holding any tension. Now, quite often we will hold tension in the body, it's very natural. But sometimes when we bring awareness to those areas of tension, sometimes they can just naturally soften. So bringing awareness to the forehead, the eyes, is it possible to soften there? The jaw, the back of the head, the neck, the shoulders, the upper arms, the lower arms, the hands. Softening each finger and thumbs. Bring awareness to the back of the body, the front of the body, allowing the belly to be soft, the hips, thighs, the lower legs and feet. And I'm going to bring awareness very gently to the breath. So you don't need to do anything special with the breath. We're just noticing we're breathing. What does it feel like to bring awareness to the breath? So when we're anxious, we can often breathe quite high up in the body. So just being curious, what is your breath like at the moment? No judgment, we're just noticing. You might be high up in the body, you might be low down in the body, you might be in between. And when we bring awareness to the breath in the body, I just want you to notice how the body moves very gently back and forth when the breath comes in and out. You might notice the rise and fall of the shoulders, very gentle movement. You might notice the belly rising and falling, the chest. And quite often the mind will want to get involved, the thinking mind. There might be lots of thoughts present. And that's okay. We think all the time, it's very natural. We're not doing anything wrong. When we notice we're lost in thought, just very gently bring the awareness back to the breath in the body. We might need to do that many, many times, and that's okay. That's the practice. Back to the body, the breath. You might even notice some movement in the back of the body as the breath comes in and out. And then the invitation is to place one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly. And when we do this, we can really feel the breath in the body. And also we're offering ourselves what we often call a soothing touch, a touch of comfort. Maybe even a sense of reassurance by placing the hand against the chest near the heart, and the hand on the belly. But do what feels good for you. Just a few moments longer with the breath. And if you have got your hands against your body, just resting them in the lap. Just tuning into how you feel in this moment. Maybe you feel a little bit different than when you first started, maybe not, and that's fine. Just notice, be curious. And then bringing some awareness back down into the body, the direct points of contact with what you're sat on. Maybe making some movements, still in the practice. So maybe some movements of the fingers, the toes. You might want to scrunch the shoulders up to the ears, let them go, introduce a stretch, do whatever feels good. And then opening your eyes when you're ready. Thank you and take care.